Welcome to Psychological Inspiration. My name is Linda and today's topic is the inner child in business. This is a very interesting and practical concept, and to make it more clear, I'd like to start with an example. So let's say you are good at your job. You know what you're doing, you feel confident most of the time, you even enjoy your job. So far so good. And then you get this call from the manager, nothing special about that. And during that meeting, suddenly he says this sentence, "I'm so disappointed." And in that moment, you feel like you shrink. You feel small, you feel overwhelmed, you feel anxious, you don't know what to say, no good ideas come to your mind anymore. You just manage to get out. What happened? Probably this is a sentence you heard before. When you feel so small, hearing that, probably in your childhood. And you probably heard it from someone who was important to you. Your parents, your grandparents, maybe your teacher. And it hurt you. And this wound is still there. You didn't know as a child how to deal with it. You didn't have the resources, the competence to deal with that. And if this person that was important to you was disappointed, maybe you didn't even know what the expectations were or how you could have met them at all. So, this sentence can be a trigger to let you feel a wound that is pretty old. So, what to do about that? Whenever in business life, also in private life of course, but it can happen in business life too, we feel like something gets us in an emotional position of feeling small and overwhelmed and anxious, or maybe in a childish way angry or sad. It's a good idea to stop, breathe and ask yourself, how old do I feel right now? And maybe there's a sudden answer like 5, or maybe just small, or maybe like in my youth. And whenever we have this idea or this feeling that this is something old we are just connecting with, it's a great idea to deal with that ourselves. We can, for example, leave the meeting, say we need to, smoke a cigar if you are smokers, or better even go to the restroom if you don't do that, and take our time, consciously connect with this part of us, this inner child who has heard the sentence, "I'm so disappointed," and ask this child, this inner part of us, this part of our personality, so what do you need? And sometimes it's just the reassuring, you are okay the way you are. Or, "I love you even though you might disappoint people." It's like another part of our personality, an older part, can be the parent, the loving parent we didn't have at that time. So, when there's this wound, often let's say 5-year-old, and this 5-year-old is still in our personality. All the other ages we went through our lives as competences and resources are there too. So for me, for example, I'm 35 now. The 35-old woman can be like a mother to this 5-year-old child who's very insecure at that moment, and can say, "Okay, I understand that this reminds you of a situation that was very hurtful for you, and this is a situation here in business, we are wearing a suit and everything. It's not as scary. I'm here a 35-old part. I take care of you. You don't have to face it. I do it. It's not your job. You are small. Just relax. I take care of you and I take care of the situation." And consciously connect with the part that is older, that has all the resources of your age. And tell this little part, "I take care of the situation." And go back as the 35, the 50, the 40, the 60, the 20, however old you are, and deal with the situation. Take responsibility. you can do even more for your inner child. But that tip for now. I would like to explain it a little more. If it's still a little unusual for you or a little fuzzy, imagine a child. Maybe you have children, or you had contact with children when you don't have children on your own. And when a child runs and falls and hurts himself on the knee, let's say on the knee, it runs to mommy or daddy and says, "Oh, I have pain in my knee," and is probably crying. And what does mommy or daddy? They hug the child and comfort the child. And then you probably see everything is fine again. The child runs away and still is playing, and everything is fine again. But what happens if the child is not comforted? Let's say mommy and daddy are not around, and they come back 20 minutes later. The physical pain is already gone, but it didn't get comfort for the shock it had experienced this physical pain. So there's still some psychological pain, you can say it that way, left. So when mommy or daddy comes 20 minutes later to pick the child up, the child will still say, "Mommy, I fell and it hurt so much," and still needs comfort for this experience. When it gets the comfort 20 minutes later, probably it's still gone again, nothing left. But when it doesn't get the comfort 20 minutes later, or an hour later, or a day later, there might be something left. That it felt confronted with a situation that was too big. Maybe it's not that big to have a hurt on the knee, but there may be other situations that it couldn't really deal with it. Deal with it in a way that really ended the situation, that really healed the situation. And there are situations that are like open still, that can be triggered later on during the life. And this is also a chance to still get healing for these moments, still get healing for these wounds. So, whenever you feel overwhelmed, angry, childish, helpless, ask yourself, how old do I feel right now? Okay, 5, 10 in youth. Okay, how old am I really? And then get in the position of the grown-up. You can ask yourself, what do you need for your insecurity? And act from the grown-up. There are many more things to say about this very interesting topic. Let's leave it this way today. If you like to hear more about the inner child, well, subscribe to my channel, leave me a thumbs up, and there might be more if you're interested. Actually, I'd like to make another video about the fun part of the inner child. It's not only hurt. There's a lot of resources you can get by getting in touch with the fun part of your inner child. Well, that's for today. Have a great week. Goodbye.